We do need to feed the algorithm, guys, which means we need to do a video. But luckily, we have stuff to talk about. So let's get to it. Big news today, early this morning, I think. That's when I heard about it anyways. In case you missed the news, there's some dude working at Arrowhead Studios named Joel, I guess, who is our resident game master. This is kind of a big deal because it was something that they teased before the game came out, that behind the scenes, behind the global, or I guess in this case, intergalactic campaign that is the story of Helldivers 2, they're planning on having devs pulling the strings, pulling the levers, tweaking things. The way that they described it, from my recollection at least, was somewhat nebulous, right? It didn't sound very much like there would be a dev in every single game, you know, twisting knobs and adjusting difficulty on the fly. But it did sound like they kind of wanted to try to deliver something close to that experience. And I wasn't sure how that was going to pan out because that sounds like a really tall order. But we do have a little bit of a revelation coming in 9:17 a.m. this morning. Early. Okay, well, if there was a tagline for this channel, it would probably be a day late and $1 short. So let's just, let's go through it. Let's have some fun with this. Helldivers 2, known for its ever-changing and dynamic solar system-wide war against bugs and bots. And players are tasked with defending or taking over planets in order to prevent various invasions from reaching Super Earth. Blah, 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 blah. Lately, they've often been failing. Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in. As it turns out, this is not some fully dynamic system that Helldivers 2 dev Arrowhead set in motion and simply lets it run and do its thing. They actually have a single guy in the studio who serves as the game master of the game, a Dungeons and Dragons term, who is controlling large-scale aspects of the conflict. Yeah, okay, so this is kind of what I was just saying to you guys. So, speaking of PC Gamer, Arrowhead CEO Johan Pilstedt explained the role of Joel. We have a lot of systems built into the game where the game master has a lot of control over the play experience. It's something that we are continuously evolving based on what's happening in the game, Pilstedt said. And as part of the roadmap, there are things that we want to keep secret because we want to surprise and delight. Interesting. There's something we could say here. Actually, I will say it. There was a leak that came out earlier today, a mech suit that the devs are working on to put in the game that was leaked. I've heard other people kind of float this theory, and I'm not big into conspiracies, but it does strike me, the way that this leaked out and the way that it makes the game look, as in it makes the game look good, that make me think that this might have been like an intentional leak on part of the devs. You know, maybe that's like something that goes hand in hand with the fact that they've been kind of secretive with their roadmap and what they're planning for future content, but I guess we'll see. I can't say for sure, obviously. Anyways, yeah, the CEO continues here. There have been some sudden moments where maybe one planet was too easy or one was too hard, and Joel had to get up in the middle of the night to give the automatons a bit of reinforcements so the players don't take the planet too quickly. Getting away from that article real quickly, this kind of brings up some things that I have been mulling over. I guess just like as a quick aside, I am working on a full, in-depth review of Helldivers 2. I don't normally do game reviews, but this game just really has me in it. I'm in the trenches every day. I am hooked like I've almost never been hooked before. So it felt like the time, if I'm ever going to do a game review, this feels like one that I should do. And I've thought a lot about some of the things that we're kind of touching on here with this article, right? I think one of the things that they talked about before the game was released, and like I mentioned a little bit earlier, was that they are all big fans of Dungeons & Dragons, and so they like the idea of having a game master in the game sort of steering the shared campaign. And as cool as that is, and it is a cool idea, it's, dare I say, innovative, right? As cool as that is, I think it would go a lot farther and it would feel a lot more fulfilling if more was being implemented to make it feel like each game had its own game master. And I think there's ways that they can go about doing that. So for example, I think one of the big things that we do know right now is that very early on, around the time that the game launched, there was a short period of time, I think a couple days, where everyone had access to call in the incendiary mine stratagem, right? That was like one of those things that, oh, because we did so good as a community, we all get to play with the incendiary mines. That's okay. But I think it might be more interesting, like, if we're doing too good as a community, or if we're doing too good on like one particular planet, it might be really cool to have, and obviously you can't do this for every mission, but it might be really cool to, let's say, have a 20% chance that your mission extraction gets extended by 2 minutes, and just make it like a percent chance, right? Make it like a 5, 10, 20% chance maybe at the most, right? Where, oh man, like we're really taking a beating on this planet. Our pelicans they're suffering. They are just getting shot out of the sky left and right. So there's a 20% chance that everyone in your team, like when you guys go to extract, that everyone will get a actual message, like a voice acted, pre-recorded message that will say something along the lines of, your pelican's under fire. We've been getting our shit kicked in. It's going to be another 2 minutes, right? I think having things like that, while it wouldn't necessarily require you to have a game master on every game, just having like that extra touch, that personal touch, having like just like a few voice lines just to communicate that to the player, I think would go a long way in bringing that feeling of almost like playing D&D, where there's, as you're playing your game, as you're doing your combat, there's a dungeon master with a screen up, right? And he's rolling dice behind the screen. It'll give you that feeling that you have when you're playing D&D, where, you see the dungeon master roll the dice and he looks up from behind the screen and goes, oh shit. And then he tells you, and a dragon flies in. I think something like that would go like a really long way into making players feel like the game master is actually more part of the game. I think that's really, I don't have too much to say about this. I mean, it's really awesome to see that there's someone actually being like appointed to the role of game master. If I have any concerns, it's just that I hope it's not that one guy, but I kind of doubt it is. I'm sure he's got some support behind him. I don't think Joel's just on his own doing it, even if he may be the one responsible. Even if he is the only one responsible now, I'm hoping that they do hire people to support him in that role. And yeah, I guess I hope everyone just kind of like is chill about it. The guy's been named, but it's just his first name. Even still, like it would really suck to see like if, in a month this game falls into like a little bit of a slump. It would be shitty to see Joel get like a bunch of hate. So I hope people don't do that. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption, but I gotta let you know that if you're liking the video, you're gonna love my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GrimwitTV. Go follow me there so you know when I'm live. But wait, don't go yet. You gotta like and subscribe first, dude. Come on. All right, let's get back to it. Back to the article real quick. So let's see. Later, after a number of questions about Joel's role in the wake of the interview, Pielstedt took to Twitter to add a few more points. So this main role is to choose what major order is happening and the dailies. Okay. It's also to choose where enemies are attacking at any given time. I assume he means planets, which is interesting. The overall war and liberation planets through fighting is all you. Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things that they have to like continue to echo, that it's all driven by the players. In reality, I mean, it's going to be a little bit tweaked in the back end. I think it kind of probably just has to be, right? Like if something's a little bit undertuned from the beginning, they can't let, some major event end in like half an hour if everybody just logs in and does it real quick. So I'm sure there's some back end finagling that they're doing. But it's good that they're keeping up the idea that it is all the player base. And I mean, largely like just because there's a little bit of finagling in the back with, some stats or tweaking some things here and there, doesn't necessarily mean that's not player driven either. So Joel can also reinforce planets if needed and give out temporary equipment to the whole community. And there will be the ability for other actions in the future that haven't been revealed yet. Okay, cool. See, I'm glad that they leave the door open. I'm glad actually that they don't get too specific with what this is going to be. It lets people like me do the kind of like theory crafting and conspiracizing that we like to do, while not closing the door to any of that, not shutting any of it down, but obviously like not overpromising either. This part, reinforce planets if needed and give out temporary equipment to the whole community. Again, very cool, but I would like to see more go into how this is handled, right? Even if it's something as simple as just like a nice little crafted you know, just like 1 or 2 voice lines, you know, letting you know at the beginning of any mission that, you know, like your fleet commander or whatever, like sends you guys a message as soon as you're down on you know, planet side, letting you know that you have access to like special stratagems, and like saying it with like some kind of enthusiasm, something that carries forward the setting that Helldivers is so good at living in, you know? Continuing on. In the wake of Joel's public debut, I'm only 60% convinced Joel is real. Yeah, I mean, like, they only gave him a first name. I would guess, and frankly, I would kind of hope actually that Joel is like either not real or maybe just the first name of one person of like a, even if it's just a small team, it'd be nice that it's like at least a team. The idea that like one guy is in charge of being the game master for the whole thing is cute, but it kind of sounds terrible for him. Players have been blaming him already for the recent loss in Malevolent Creek, aka Robot Vietnam, which fell to the automatons after furious fighting for the better part of a week. That's true. When Joel sent a bunch more automaton reinforcements to make that fight even tougher is unclear. Okay, I think this is a little bit of a typo, but I think whether Joel sent a bunch more automaton reinforcements to make that fight even tougher is unclear. And again, this is kind of what I'm talking about. I know I'm repeating myself, but adding in some kind of voice line, some kind of message to the players, and adding in something to let them know when the game master, you know, for everyone who's playing the game, you know, we all understand like the meta of it. We all understand like we're outside the fourth wall or whatever. So we would understand, oh, this is the game master making, you know, taking action in the game, but having something in the game too to convey that to us so that we're aware that like, oh yeah, Joel's doing his thing, guys. Fuck him, you know? I've been on the Reddit on and off quite a bit today. From what I've seen, there's been a lot of like, and Joel, you know, keeping us from liberating Malevolent Creek, but it all seems to be like a really good jest. Again, I think that's right now, that's just because the game is in a good spot. I'm a little worried. I don't want the game to like fall into a slump and people get like genuinely mad at the game master part of it. So keeping the touch light is good. But again, like, I really think that not only do I really want there to be indicators of what's going on behind the scenes to clue us in, the players, but I think we also need to not forget that other bugs still exist in the game. Armor not being fully implemented right now, stats wise, is I think a big problem. That needs to get fixed ASAP. But other than that, yeah, I'm really positive about where this game is going. Anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. I'm gonna be going to bed now. But stop. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. Hit the like button while you're down there because we have a huge review for the game coming out. It's the first time I've ever done a game review, and I am being an absolute perfectionist about this thing. You guys will not see it until it is awesome. I guarantee it. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace. I don't know what I'm doing, dude. Jesus Christ. I hate ending videos. All right, that's it. We're done.